I welcome you to my channel. Subscribe and listen to my new stories every day. It's a cold October evening when the real storm begins. I sit alone at the dinner table, the cold casserole in front of me a stark reminder of how routine life has become. The quiet hum of the refrigerator is the only sound, a constant presence in our otherwise silent kitchen. My wife, Emma, had told me she was going to her mother's house for the night. It was a story I've heard before: family emergencies, impromptu visits. I never questioned it, never thought much of it. But tonight, something feels off. I scroll through my phone absent-mindedly, trying to distract myself from the gnawing suspicion that something isn't right. Then, an alert pops up. Breaking news: local store robbed, suspects apprehended. I almost ignore it, but a flash of a familiar face in the news thumbnail catches my eye. Emma. My heart skips a beat. I tap the notification, and the screen fills with chaotic footage. There she is, being pulled out of a police car, flanked by officers and a man who looks strangely familiar. The report is a blur of flashing lights and frantic voices, but the headline cuts through: modern-day Bonnie and Clyde. I'm rooted to my chair as the newscaster narrates the events. The store robbery, the high-speed chase, and the dramatic capture. They mention that Emma's companion had been shot in the shoulder while protecting her, a bullet meant for her. The report captures a glimpse of Emma's face, pale and shocked, but unmistakably hers. I'm stunned. Every rational thought evaporates as the realization sinks in: Emma, the woman who I thought was visiting her mother, was actually involved in a crime with her lover. The betrayal is like a physical blow. I feel as though the world has tilted on its axis. The news cycle seems endless. I watch as the story evolves, seeing Emma being dragged into an ambulance while the camera focuses on her partner, bleeding but defiant. The reporters speculate about their relationship, their motivations. The name Bonnie and Clyde keeps coming up, and it feels like a cruel joke. I know I should call Emma, but the anger inside me is too raw. I pace the kitchen, replaying every moment we've shared in my mind, every detail that now seems tainted. The realization that Emma has been living a double life stings worse than any physical wound. Hours later, the police come knocking on our door. They inform me that Emma has been charged with several counts, including armed robbery. They need my statement: she's listed me as her emergency contact. The questions are relentless, the scrutiny invasive. What did you know about her activities? The officer asks, his eyes piercing. Nothing, I reply, my voice tight. She said she was visiting her mother. The officer nods, making notes. We'll need you to cooperate with the investigation. I nod, feeling hollow. As the police leave, a cold resolution forms within me. Emma has shattered my world, turned our life into a media spectacle, and I can't just let this pass. The betrayal is unbearable, and the more I think about it, the more I know that something has to be done. My anger is not just about the affair or the crime, it's about the life I thought I had, now in ruins. Divorce is the immediate step, but I want more. I want her to understand the depth of her betrayal. I begin to make a list of everything she holds dear, the friends she confided in, the places she loves. Each item on this list becomes a potential target for my revenge. I'm not just ending our marriage, I'm dismantling the life she built on deceit. In the following days, as Emma's trial approaches and the media frenzy grows, I quietly prepare for my retaliation. I reach out to her closest friends, subtly leaking information that will ensure her reputation is forever tarnished. I want to make sure she feels the full weight of her choices, that she understands what it means to lose everything. The divorce papers are signed, and as I watch her leave the courtroom, her face a mix of sorrow and defiance, I know this is just the beginning. I've become a spectator in the tragic drama of her life, but I'm also its unseen force. The betrayal is complete, and now, I will make sure that my revenge is as thorough as her betrayal was cruel. The following weeks blur into a whirlwind of legal meetings and media coverage. Emma's face is plastered across every news channel, a constant reminder of the public humiliation and the personal betrayal that now define my life. I bury myself in work to escape the relentless reminders, but the anger and the sense of betrayal are never far behind. One evening, I sit in my office, reviewing paperwork, when my phone rings. It's Dave, Emma's former colleague and someone I once considered a friend. I answer, bracing myself for more fallout. "Hey, it's Dave," his voice crackles through the line. "I heard about Emma. I can't believe it. Are you holding up okay?" "Not really," I admit. "It's been a rough few weeks." "I can imagine," he says. "I'm calling because there's something you should know." Emma had been involved in some shady dealings for months. I didn't think much of it until everything blew up. I sit up straighter. "Shady dealings? What do you mean?" Dave hesitates. "I don't want to get involved, but I overheard her talking about someone named Jake. She was working with him on something, business, I think. I thought it was just work-related, but now." "Jake?" I repeat, feeling a spark of recognition. "Is that the guy who got shot?" "Yeah," Dave confirms. "I don't know much, but it's worth looking into." After the call, I'm restless. Jake's name is a new piece of the puzzle, and I need to understand more. I dive into online searches, trying to find any information about him. The deeper I dig, the more I find. Jake is a known criminal with a history of theft and violence. Emma's choice of partner suddenly makes sense in the worst possible way. The next day, I receive a letter from Emma's lawyer, detailing the terms of our divorce. There's a list of assets and properties, most of which I had no idea existed. It's clear that Emma was hiding more than just her criminal activities. The anger bubbles up again, stronger than before. I decide it's time to act. I arrange a meeting with her lawyer, hoping to get more insight into her current situation. The meeting is held in a small, sterile conference room. Emma's lawyer, a middle-aged man with a tired expression, sits across from me, shuffling through documents. "I understand you're seeking a settlement," he begins, "but the division of assets is complex. Emma is in no position to negotiate right now." "I'm not here for a settlement," I reply. "I want to know more about Emma's activities, her financial dealings, and her current situation. I need to know what else I've been kept in the dark about." The lawyer looks uncomfortable but nods. "I can give you some information, but you need to be cautious. Emma's situation is delicate, and there are ongoing investigations." As he provides details, I realize just how deep Emma's deceit ran. Hidden accounts, undisclosed properties, and unexplained wealth paint a picture of a life lived under false pretenses. I leave the meeting with a heavy sense of dread but also a newfound determination. That night, I sit in my living room, a map of Emma's assets spread out before me. I'm plotting my next move. Every property, every account, every piece of information I've gathered is now a potential target. The urge for revenge is stronger than ever. I can't undo the past, but I can ensure that Emma's life is as affected as mine has been. I begin by contacting a private investigator, someone who can help me track down the hidden assets and gather more information on Jake and Emma's illicit activities. As I discuss the details with him, I realize that the road ahead is fraught with challenges, but I'm committed to seeing this through. Days turn into weeks as I meticulously plan my course of action. The private investigator's reports reveal even more about Emma's life, a web of deceit that extends far beyond what I had imagined. With each new piece of information, my resolve hardens. Emma is due to appear in court soon, and the media frenzy continues. I'm prepared for the next phase of my plan, ready to use the information I've gathered to make sure she feels the full impact of her actions. The betrayal is not just personal, it has become a public spectacle, and I intend to make sure Emma's fall from grace is as complete as it can be. As I watch the news coverage of her court appearance, I feel a cold satisfaction. The chapter of my life that Emma tore apart is now closing, but the story of retribution is just beginning. Each step I take is calculated, deliberate, and driven by the desire to see justice served in a way that goes beyond the courtroom. The fallout from Emma's actions is far from over, and I'm ready to ensure that every consequence of her betrayal is felt deeply and unmistakably. The intrigue of our story continues to unfold, and I am at the center, orchestrating the retribution that will follow. The sun sets behind a wall of gray clouds as I make my way to the courthouse. The media buzz outside is almost deafening, cameras flashing and reporters shouting questions. Emma's trial is the main event of the day, and I'm here to witness it, though not as a participant. The real action, however, is happening behind the scenes. I've spent the past weeks coordinating with the private investigator, Daniel, who has been crucial in uncovering the layers of deceit in Emma's life. We have a plan to use the information we've gathered, but first, I need to see how the trial unfolds. Inside the courthouse, the atmosphere is tense. I find a seat in the back of the courtroom, where I can observe without drawing attention. Emma sits at the defendant's table, her face gaunt and her eyes haunted. Her once pristine image is now marred by the weight of her crimes and the glare of the media. The prosecution lays out the case methodically, presenting evidence of Emma's involvement in the robbery. The courtroom listens intently as witnesses testify, and the evidence piles up against her. Every word from the prosecutor feels like a nail in the coffin, and I can't help but feel a grim satisfaction. During a break in proceedings, I spot Jake's sister, Olivia, in the hallway. She's clutching a small bag and looks out of place amidst the crowd. I approach her cautiously, knowing she might hold more pieces of this puzzle. "Olivia?" I call out, trying to catch her attention. She turns, her eyes wary. "Yes. I'm Alex," I introduce myself. "I was married to Emma. I'm here because I need answers." Olivia's expression shifts from suspicion to curiosity. "Answers? About what?" "About Jake. I know he was involved with Emma, and I need to understand what really happened." "Did Jake know about her plans?" Olivia's shoulders slump. "I've tried to stay out of this mess, but Jake wasn't just her lover. He was deep into something dangerous. Emma was involved in laundering money through a network of businesses. Jake got caught up in it." My mind races. Emma wasn't just a criminal, she was part of a larger scheme. "Do you know where these businesses are? Any more details?" She nods reluctantly. "There's a warehouse on the outskirts of town. It's one of the places where they did their dirty work. But be careful, there are people who won't be happy if you start digging." "Thank you, Olivia," I say, feeling a mix of gratitude and apprehension. "I'll be cautious." With this new information, I head back to my car and dial Daniel. I need him to investigate this warehouse, to find out what other secrets Emma might be hiding. "Daniel, I have a lead," I say as he answers. "There's a warehouse on the outskirts of town. It might be connected to Emma's money laundering activities." "I'm on it," Daniel replies. "I'll check it out and let you know what I find." As I hang up, I feel a surge of adrenaline. The prospect of uncovering more of Emma's dirty secrets is invigorating. This warehouse could be the key to not only understanding her actions but also ensuring her downfall is as complete as possible. Later that evening, Daniel calls with an update. "Alex, I checked out the warehouse. It's heavily secured, cameras, guards, the whole 9 yards. But I managed to get some footage and documents. It looks like Emma was involved in a much larger operation." "What kind of operation?" I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. "It's massive," Daniel says. "Multiple shell companies, money flowing through various channels. It's more than just local. Emma was in way over her head." My resolve hardens. If Emma was part of such an extensive network, then her punishment needs to reflect that. I need to make sure that her entire operation is exposed. The next day, I prepare to make my move. I gather all the evidence Daniel has provided and head to the local news station. I've decided it's time for the public to know the full extent of Emma's criminal activities. The media coverage has been one-sided, focusing on the dramatic aspects of the case but ignoring the broader implications. At the station, I meet with a journalist named Sarah, who has been covering Emma's trial. "Sarah, I have information that could change the narrative," I say, laying out the documents and footage. She looks intrigued but cautious. "What's this about?" "It's about Emma's involvement in a money laundering operation. She was part of a much larger criminal network. The public needs to know the full story." Sarah reviews the materials, her eyes widening. "This is explosive. If this is true, it could shift the entire focus of the case." "Exactly," I say. "I want the truth to come out. Emma needs to face the full consequences of her actions." Sarah nods, a determined look on her face. "I'll make sure this gets the attention it deserves." As I leave the news station, a sense of purpose drives me. The fallout from Emma's actions is about to reach new heights. By exposing the full extent of her crimes, I aim to ensure that she and her entire network face justice. The intrigue deepens, and my role in this story becomes more pivotal. The next steps will be crucial, and I am ready to see this through to the end, no matter the cost. Emma's betrayal has set off a chain of events that is far from over, and I am determined to ensure that every consequence is felt and every secret uncovered. The media frenzy around Emma's trial has reached a fever pitch. With the new evidence I provided, the story has evolved into a full-blown scandal. Emma's once polished reputation is in tatters, and the public is riveted by every detail of her criminal network. But amidst the chaos, a darker and more personal plan is set into motion, my final act of revenge. The night before Emma's sentencing, I receive an anonymous message on my phone, a video link with a cryptic note: "The truth will be revealed." My heart races as I click the link. The video shows footage of Emma and Jake in the warehouse, but what catches my eye is a brief clip of Emma speaking with another person, a man who isn't Jake. The man's face is partially obscured, but his voice is clear. "I told you we could control him," Emma says, her voice dripping with malice. "He's been nothing but a pawn in our game." The video reveals a conversation about manipulating me and staging the entire scandal to divert attention away from their real agenda. Emma's betrayal wasn't just about infidelity or crime, it was a calculated scheme to destroy my life while they continued their illicit operations behind the scenes. Rage consumes me. Emma and Jake's plan was far more insidious than I ever imagined. It wasn't just about cheating or crime, it was a deliberate, ruthless act of destruction aimed at me. I need to act fast. I call Daniel and meet him in a secluded parking lot. I show him the video, and his face pales as he processes the implications. "This changes everything," he says. "Emma and Jake played you like a fool. I'm not going to let them get away with this," I reply, my voice cold and steely. "We need to finish this." Together, we devise a plan. The warehouse is still operational, a hub for their criminal activities. We'll use it to our advantage. Our objective is simple: expose the full extent of their treachery and ensure they pay the ultimate price for their deceit. Under the cover of darkness, Daniel and I make our way to the warehouse. We're armed with evidence and a few essential tools. The plan is to document everything, including Emma and Jake's involvement, and leak it to the media. But I have more in mind. Inside the warehouse, the air is thick with the stench of rot and metal. We navigate through the maze of crates and machinery, moving silently. Emma and Jake are in a makeshift office at the far end, surrounded by stacks of illicit goods. They're too engrossed in their scheming to notice us. "Get the footage," I whisper to Daniel, who sets up the camera. I move closer, ready to confront them. My heart pounds in my chest, but my mind is clear. Emma looks up and spots me. Her eyes widen in shock. "What are you doing here?" I'm here to end this, I say, my voice low and dangerous. I know everything, your lies, your manipulations. It's over. Jake stands, his hand going to a concealed weapon. You're making a mistake, Alex. This isn't just about you. It was always about me, I retort. You wanted to destroy my life while you continued your criminal empire. Emma sneers, her face a mask of disdain. You were always just a pawn. We needed a scapegoat, and you fit the role perfectly. The confrontation is tense, but I'm prepared. I signal to Daniel, who starts broadcasting the footage to the media. The live feed shows Emma and Jake's criminal activities and their conversations about manipulating me. It's an explosive revelation. As the video spreads, the warehouse is suddenly flooded with flashing lights and sirens. The police arrive, responding to the tip-off about illegal activities. Emma and Jake are caught in the act, their faces a mix of anger and disbelief. Let's get out of here, I say to Daniel, and we make our escape as the police take control of the scene. The next day, the media coverage is unprecedented. Emma and Jake's criminal empire is exposed in its entirety, their manipulations and deceit laid bare. The public reaction is swift and unforgiving. Emma's trial becomes a high-profile case, with her facing severe charges. The final twist comes when it's revealed that the mysterious man in the video was actually an undercover agent working with the authorities to uncover the full scope of their operations. Emma and Jake's entire plan to frame me and divert attention is exposed as a desperate attempt to avoid the consequences of their crimes. I watch from a distance as Emma and Jake are led away in handcuffs, their faces etched with the realization of their defeat. The anger and hatred that once consumed me have transformed into a grim satisfaction. They have paid the price for their betrayal, and my role in their downfall is complete. As I walk away from the courthouse, a sense of closure settles over me. The deception has been revealed, and justice has been served. Emma and I are forever parted by the chasm of betrayal and retribution. The final act of vengeance has been executed with ruthless precision, ensuring that the story of our lives ends in a stark, irrevocable separation. In the end, the truth has triumphed, and the tale of betrayal and revenge concludes with a decisive and definitive conclusion.